we're off to the races with the Kusama Derby. This is something which came up on Twitter a couple of days ago. I missed it, I wasn't following. The Zeitgeist team, who are making a prediction market, they wrote a blog and they said, hey, we're going to do this Kusama Derby, but I was silly and I ignored it. However, a tweet came up today and I decided to dig in. I think this one is actually a really fun event, and I think people should take a look and participate. As I say in all of my previous videos, this is not supposed to be financial advice. This is not me telling you which tokens to buy or sell or whatever else. Just so we're clear, as always, it's just for educational purposes. Do your own research, own your own risks. So what happened? Here I was just browsing Twitter earlier today, taking it easy, and what do I see? I see this tweet from Sota, who is the leader of the Plasm team, and he's saying, hey, our horse has won this race, and I'm like, okay, what does this really mean? What does this really mean, you know? So Plasm is also going to release a network called Shiden. That's like the Kusama flavored version of Plasm. And basically, there's on the prediction market, the Zeitgeist prediction market, the community is predicting that this team will win slot number 2. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I should have read that blog. I should have, tried to figure out what it is. My bad. And so I spent some of today looking into Kusama Derby. And now I'm doing a short video just to explain it to you. Not going to go into great detail of the mechanics of how the actual prediction market works or how the race works exactly, but more just like the softer aspects, the community aspects, and what I think of that. So, as I just said, there's 3 slots, and you can vote upon 9 teams to win one of the 3 slots. The 10th vote is actually none, so no team. So if you thought that no team will win slot 3, or not no team, but none of these teams, then that's what you would vote for. So the link for that I've got on the screen here, but I will put it down below into the YouTube description so you can find it much easier. Let's jump into race number 1. So race number 1, what we have here is we have the very first horse is Karura. And basically the community thinks that Karura will win the first slot. That's what they're saying here. In second place is Shiden for the first slot. This is only the first slot. And in third place is Moon River, and then basically the other teams. There may be some voting on them, but it may be rather minimal. Now what's interesting here is this is almost like saying who's going to win the first 3 slots. Karura first, Shiden number 2, and then Moon River number 3. Now, as I step through the next slides, you'll see that that's kind of true, although maybe not perfectly true. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting, and I think this is a really cool interface. I think this is a really cool way to show a prediction market at work, rather than just betting upon, who will win slot number 1. It's kind of boring. Whereas if they make it this kind of play on horse racing, that's much, much more fun and much more interesting. Let's take a look at number 2. So this is some hours after Sota tweeted. They fixed the UI such that the horse is no longer off the page. And I think Moon River is a bit closer now in the second slot tier. So there's still time to play. I think someone was tweeting me saying, it's going to end at the end of June. I didn't look into the details, kind of whatever. It's going to end at some point. You should have enough time to vote if you're watching this video. If you're watching this video in the far future, yeah, you've missed it, whatever. So Shiden looks like it's going to take slot number 2, and although they could lose that to Moon River might take it. So that is an interesting prediction to me. And obviously, no one thinks that Karura is worth voting on in slot number 2. They're basically saying, the community, which is saying, okay, look, they're going to win slot number 1. It's going to be so obvious. Let's not even vote them in slot number 2. That's what this is saying. Also, the community so far have basically put almost no votes upon the other horses. They're basically saying these other teams don't really have much of a chance of winning slot 2, just like they didn't with slot 1. Is that correct or true or fair? We don't know. Obviously, there's some selection bias here, which is you have to have heard about this derby. So you need to be following like the Twitter of one of these major teams in order to know to come and vote here. And each of these communities may have pushed it more than another community. There's some teams which are missing, so obviously there's other good candidates here who may even win slot 2 or maybe slot 3. Not my prediction. My prediction probably is either for Shiden or for Moon River. Really, I think it's going to be one of those two. I don't know who I would say one or the other. Maybe Shiden, but I don't know. I don't have a horse in this race. It's actually just kind of more fun to watch than anything. Slot number 3. Now this is much more interesting because there's more happening. The community is saying, the community is less clear on who they think will win number 3. Now at the moment they're saying probably Moon River, which is obviously, it's kind of obvious. If it doesn't win 1 or 2, then at least it should win 3. But of course, people have to come here and vote in order to basically move the horse along. And if the community don't do that, I think the 3 are independent. I would need obviously the Zeitgeist team to correct me there, but you have to make 3 separate votes because there's 3 separate slots. So they're independent races in that sense, so independent voting. But it's interesting people are coming here and actually voting to push the horses along. But as I just said, it's also interesting to see that the other teams are pushing up here, that people are coming out to vote and saying, okay, look, Kala, which is the Kusama flavor network of Fala, has a good chance, and it's actually at number 3. People from the Darwinia community have been voting up their horse, so the Darwinia horse is at number 2. Could any of these teams win, the 3rd slot? Yeah, perhaps, because here's the interesting thing, is that a team doesn't have to bid for a real PLO if they don't want to. So of course that they don't have to bid at all, but they don't have to bid on slot 1 if they think that slot 1 is going to Karura. It's like, let's not even waste our time. And they don't have to bid on slot 2 if they think that, Shiden or Moon River is probably going to win that. So let's not vote on 1, let's not bid on 1, let's not bid on 2. Let's save all of our efforts and push the community to get us into slot 3. Now that is actually quite a smart strategy because you're not sort of wasting your time trying to win an auction that you're never going to win. I think, far and away, as I said, far and away, Karura's almost certainly going to win the 1st slot. That's not a guarantee, things can happen. You don't know because of the mechanics of the auction. We just don't know. But that's where our sense of smell is. But here, this is much more open to me. This is much wider open that maybe any of these teams could win slot 3. That's assuming that Moon River don't win slot 2. I would think that it would win slot 3, but if they don't, maybe one of these other teams, if you dig into some of these other teams, they also have tens of thousands of followers on Twitter. And if they play the strategy right, then one of these other teams might be able to kind of steal slot 3 from one of the sort of more favoured teams. Now, that would be an interesting strategy, but I don't know. Again, no horse in this race either, but it's fun to watch. Anyway, let me push on a little bit here. Let me say a little bit about the team. The team is bigger than this page that I'm showing. I'm showing just the first 6 because that was easy for me to take a picture. I think they are like 10 people now or something around this. Maybe it's 12. I don't know. But the thing here is that I know Logan and I know Hutch. These are people that I used to work with. These are my old colleagues from the foundation. Obviously, they know Polkadot very well, both either the tech and or the community. So, deep connections within the community, and just in general, they're well placed to build a product. And I think they will definitely deliver their product, but can they make it work? Now, I'm not betting against my former colleagues at all. The only reason I say, the only reason that I even ask the question is that prediction markets have done rather poorly on Ethereum. And so what is the secret sauce here which will make these guys, succeed? I don't know. I mean, part of it is that, yes, I believe that Polkadot and Substrate is a better technology, so there is more customization, so you can tailor what you're doing. You should be able to make it much cheaper. That, of course, making the actual individual bets much cheaper is a huge thing. If Ethereum gas is going wild, then of course people are not going to take part in the betting. So that is obviously something where these guys will have an edge. But that's like almost like the supply side in my head. The demand side is, can they appeal to the community enough to actually make their product desirable? Will people actually want to use this product? Never mind how many cool features that you have. What are the benefits it's going to bring? This is where I think the team need to go a bit further than what we've seen in Ethereum. And one very positive sign is actually this horse race, this derby. It's a cool sort of aspect of gamification to make players or users, shall we say, get interested in the product. It's not just like a spreadsheet of here's team 1 and team 2 and who's going to win slot 3. That's kind of boring, and that's not really a great interface. If the team can keep this sort of momentum going across all of the things that they're doing, then yeah, that would be a winner for me. But that's tricky, right? I think having a really cool custom interface for every type of prediction that you can do just isn't going to work. For some of the bigger events, I could see them doing a little bit of nice UI work to really seal it, but in general, I don't know. That said, I am quite optimistic on the team. I don't own any tokens, so this is not me shilling a bag. But I am optimistic on the team partly because of my old connections with my old colleagues here and kind of knowing who they are and what they're capable of. That's why I do feel positive. I can say a little bit on the token. I don't own any, as I said. There was a seed sale. I don't know about the strategic sale. I don't know what's being concluded exactly. As you can see on the slide, there is a promise for a public sale. Probably it looks like an IDO, so that would be nice if it's on a Polkadot DEX rather than like an ERC20 on on Ethereum. I'm not a big fan of those. Whenever Karura is up, I think that means that we could probably see a DEX on top of Karura, and therefore an IDO for Zeitgeist on that DEX. That would be my guess as to what might happen. There's going to be 10 million tokens available for that particular IDO, and then obviously 100 million tokens in total, and 10 million just for the public part. That's like some of the facts that we have already. Valuation wise, most seeds are sort of less than 20 million unless they're DeFi. That's just the facts across probably any team across all of crypto, but certainly within Polkadot, from all of the decks I've seen, all of the teams I've spoken to, pretty much all non-DeFi teams are raising less than 20 million valuation. Obviously, when they get to the public stage of doing a sale, there will be more value built into the product, and so you could expect the public sale to have a higher valuation. That's just kind of the way it goes. Will it be 30 million or 50 million? I don't know. Could it be 100 million? I don't know, perhaps. At what level would I be interested? Well, I think, if it was, say, 30 million or 50 million, I might buy some tokens. I'm not saying I will. If it's 100 million, maybe I rethink. Where do I think it can go? Because I always say, if you buy some tokens, it's also about where do you think it's going to go, if you're going to hold the tokens long term, or if you just want to buy the tokens to participate in the prediction markets, then obviously it's worth buying some tokens to participate in the prediction markets. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the team for now. Mostly it was focusing on the Derby because I thought that was really cool and really fun and something that you should, get involved with. As always, I like to just shill my Reddit, which is 5,400 members as of this afternoon, or roundabout. We also have a Discord, which would be great to see more people join. There's less members in the Discord, obviously, than the Reddit, but we actually have some discussions in the Discord that don't make it to the Reddit. So, you know, it's like kind of, you know, really diving into some of the details of the teams and the offerings and saying, okay, what do we think is real or sensible, or what, you know, what do we think is going to happen? So some of the real kind of, you know, interesting conversations are actually in the Discord, but obviously the Reddit is still good too. So anyway, I welcome you to join both of them. You know, reach out, drop some comments in the YouTube comment section. You know, let me know which horse do you think is going to win the three races. It's always going to be a bit of fun just to chat about that, or, you know, come and chat about that on the Reddit or the Discord. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much.